Hello everyone, welcome back to anubhavtrainings.com. In this video series, we are learning about cloud application programming model with Mongo database. By far in this series of videos, we have developed a complete application with the backend implementing CURD queue operation on MongoDB using CAPM stack. We are using Node.js latest version with cloud application programming model by SAP as a backend framework in the Visual Studio Code to develop application. In today's session, I'm going to show a topic which is very close to my heart, debugging and environment variable. So as a developer, it is extremely important that we not just develop, but we also trace when if something goes wrong in your application, these issues. So how to tackle the bugs, and that is something which we can do using debugging. At the same time, you don't want to hard code any configuration in the application so that later point of time when you deliver your app to production or quality system or to another fellow developer, you don't want this configuration to be delivered what you are using in your local machine. So to overcome these challenges, we utilize the configuration using environment variables in VS Code. So let's get started and first see how can we debug our application. So I will switch over to VS Code, which is our development environment. We've implemented different calls like get, put, post, delete by far on this CAPM application. And now I'm going to define a debug configuration. In the VS Code on the left side corner, you see an option called debug configuration. This is extremely on the right hand side in the toolbar. You can click on this button and now you can define a debug configuration. So I go there, you can see it's already knowing that which project am I running. So I'm running cap mongo and it has a cds run command which was previously executed, which we can define a debug configuration. I can click on this run button from the debugging and it will start debugging. But before that, let me set up breakpoint. Now, before you start debugging, a very important setting which you have to take care in VS Code. Otherwise, your debuggers will not be triggered. So you have to go to settings at the bottom, click on manage, go to settings, and now search here inspect. In the inspect option, you will see CDS inspect and JavaScript debugger. Go to JavaScript debugger and say always allow. I will save the setting, close it, and now I can just click on run simply. Before that, let's set up our breakpoint. So I would like to set up a breakpoint in our GET request. Perhaps that's the biggest method we have coded. So we would like to debug at certain points. So let me just click next to the line number to start debugging. Yes, and maybe just put 2 breakpoints. So let's go ahead and now trigger our run. So you can click on run button from here, CDS run with debug option, and this will start project. You can see the color of the status bar turns magenta, which means you are now in the debugger option or the debugging is on. We can switch over back to the browser now and let me trigger the call to read all the customers. And voila, you can see my debugger has hit into the VS Code. You can see already the response hasn't come and I've got my debugger. I can analyze any variable. I can see all the global variables here on the top, the function calls, the global variables which are available along with the closures. And now I can just debug like any other JavaScript debugging with F10. You can see F10. So haven't got any limit here. So you can see the value of limit is 0. F10, what's the limit value? Let me check. It's 1000, which I'm taking by default. I would like to change. I can change it pretty easily. F10, it has got all the values. Now it's calling customer. And let me just check the value of this offset and limit. I can right click and add them to the watch point. So you can see multiple options to basically use your variables and explore them right away into the left hand side. So you can pick a particular variable, you can format, refactor, and then probably evaluate in debug console or add to watch. Let me add to watch. You can see the value of set is 0. The value of limit, let me also add that to the watch. It's 1000. I can change that value perhaps. Let me just try to change that. So we go back and I say evaluate in debug console and I can say limit is equals to 10. So now you can see the new value of limit is 10, which means perhaps it should return only 10 records. You can see it has also changed in the watch point. Let me make it 2 only so it will be more clear for you. Limit 2, which means I should get my first top 2 record. So while debugging, I can change the value and I can press F5 to let it continue. And if you go back to the app, there you go. Though we have not passed any $top skip, still I get just 2 records because during debugging, I was able to change certain values and test them. Nice. So that's how you can simply run debuggers when it comes to debugging your CAPM code locally in VS Code. Now, the next step is configuration. So why do we need configuration? What is the purpose of configuration? So if I come back to my PPT and explain you, let's say I have a development team and we are a couple of developers developing our application, CAPM application, and we are all using our local development environment. So let's say there's one developer, Anubhav, and there's another developer, Ananya. So both are working on same project. Anubhav is developing a CAPM application, and Ananya is also a developer in the same application using CAPM framework. Now, Anubhav is connecting to his own version of MongoDB in the cloud. He has created a cloud instance of Mongo, and Ananya wants to connect to her own Mongo instance. Both have created their own Mongo instances, yes, and they don't want each other's data to be changed accidentally during development. They want it to be safe. So right now, as you know, that in our previous episode we have hard coded the MongoDB URL. Anubhav has hard coded, which means if I put this code into the Git, and when Ananya takes this code from the Git, she will eventually get the same URL in her CAPM, and then she will always go and try to connect to the DB instance which was created by Anubhav. We don't want that to happen. We want to stop it. We want Ananya to create her own MongoDB instance and stay safe during development so that she can comfortably develop without changing or Anubhav's data. So basically the similar thing what we do in XS Advance using a HDI container, same thing we want to achieve here. So the way is Ananya can go and register her own MongoDB and she will get, let's say, a URL for Ananya, let's say URL AN, and then Anubhav already registered, so Anubhav get a URL ANU. Now both the URLs are different, but these developers now need to put these URL without touching the code. So what they can do now in their local environment, Ananya can create a environment file called .env. Dot means it's a more of a file which is pertaining to one developer. Usually dot files are hidden files. So we will never push them into the Git. This will be only locally available in the development tool of each developer. And Anubhav also create a environment file .env. Anubhav maintains his MongoDB URL here, and Ananya also does that. And in the application productive code, what we do, we will refer this env file to actually point to MongoDB. Yeah, so this is how both developers have their own version of .env file in their local machine, and then from there we can use the URL directly. We don't have to hard code the URL in app level, and each developer have their own version of environment file, and this can be used for multiple purpose, but in this case we are using it for database configuration. So I've already done that. Let me switch it over. And if I come back, the steps are as follows. Let me explain the steps here. So step number one is we need to go and create an environment file, and we need to attach this environment file into our launch config. So first of all, this is a setting which you have to do in VS Code to tell that all your environment variables are going to come from a file called .env. Where do you do this setting? So let me show you that first. So this is a prerequisite to use environment file. So you come to the debugger, and now you see this is our project. Make sure that you're on the right project, and then go to this settings button. You click on that, and here in the debug configuration or the configuration, you will just maintain this link, and this links our environment file. So this tells the system that whenever we run our project, all the environment variables are going to come from this file in my workspace folder .env. So this is step number one. Then step number two is we go back and now we create a .env file here. Yes, I've already created. Let me show you what the file has. So this is a developer's own file. So each developer, Ananya or Anubhav or Alex, they all will have a local version of .env file. You never commit this file to Git. So always add it to your Git ignore. So you will never eventually commit this file. This will be pertaining to your own local development environment. And here you can maintain a variable called host URL. And here is where you can now cut and paste the URL from of your MongoDB. Your personalized MongoDB of each developer can be pasted here. So I will pause my screen for a second, and now I'm going to bring the URL which I have. So it has sensitive information, so that's why I paused my screen and I will close the file. Remember, the variable name is host URL variable. So I have to do that, and once I do that, I will just close it, and then I will switch over back to my project file. So this is the step number one, which we did. Then we create a host URL, and there we put our own Mongo URL. So I've done that and I've closed that file. So this is the file where we have now the details. The next step is we will use a node dependency called .env. So let's install that dependency here on our project. So I'm going to go back to terminal. Let me stop the project, disconnect from debugger. Let me disconnect, stop the debugging, and I'll come back and just do a npm install .env. This is a dependency which I will add to my project now. Yes, perhaps you can add it as a dev dependency. And next step is use this piece of code to read the data from environment file. So I'm going to switch over back to my actual service code. And if you remember, here is where we were having earlier the hard-coded URL, which was used by every developer. So now I have to tell that this URL is no more hard-coded. This has to be picked up from my env file. So we just have to paste this code. And this module has a specialty. It will read all the environment variables, and eventually these variables can be accessed through process.env. The variable name which you have. Wow, that's amazing. And this is now kind of a code which works for every developer, provided they have a .env file and a variable called host URL. So I will put here a comment. So please create a .env file with host URL and maintain your own MongoDB URL there. Bam! And now I can do git push to this project. Yes, and utilizing this project, anyone just by creating a .env file in their local machine, in the local project, make sure the file name is .env. You guys can connect and utilize my project. I will be also sharing the GitHub link for this entire project with all of you. If you want to get this project, please send us an email on contact@anubhavtrainings.com to get the complete GitHub URL link for this particular project. So this is super duper important, and please subscribe this channel. So after you subscribe the channel, drop us an email on contact@anubhavtrainings.com mentioning that you have subscribed to the channel already and now you want the Git URL. So we will give you the Git URL of this entire project free of cost to you, and you can download my entire code and you can utilize that by adapting it with more tables, more enrichments, and you can utilize directly this project for your practical uses as well. So that's the process. So now let's move on. And what we will do next is we will go ahead and test everything. So we have everything in place. Let's do a CDS run, enter, and let's see what do we get. So I switch over back. So let me just do a refresh, and voila, you can see it's still working. Perfect. So now you have more safer way or more better way of connecting to your service. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, subscribe this channel for more videos like this, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.